Okay, number 4, we're given another angle and we want to find the remaining 5 trig functions. So I'm going to start out drawing the right triangle. I'm going to label one side alpha. I'll just put it in the top this time. And so cosine, what we're given, cosine alpha is equal to the square root of 7 over 7. Okay, so cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so the adjacent side, the side that's touching it, is right here. So that's going to be the square root of 7. And then the hypotenuse is going to be the long diagonal side, which is going to be 7. So the side that's missing is here, one of the legs. So we're going to do Pythagorean's theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, a can be this leg, so we're going to have the square root of 7 squared plus b squared, the unknown, equals c squared. It's going to be 7 squared. When I square the square root, it cancels out, so we have 7 plus b squared equals 49. We're going to subtract 7 from both sides, so that will give us b squared equals 42. And then when you take the square root of both sides, you get b equals the square root of 42. Okay, so now I have all 3 sides. I can find the remaining trig functions. So sine of alpha, cosine of alpha was given, square root of 7 over 7. This one I must find. Tangent, and then SEC, or sorry, SCSC, cosecant, is a counterpart here of alpha, SEC of alpha, and then cotangent. All right, so we can figure out SEC is going to be 7 over the square root of 7. Okay, if I rationalize this, this would be, move the square root on top, so it would be 7 square root of 7, and then take the square root off the bottom. So 7 square root of 7 over 7, or if you reduce this, 7 divided by 7, you just get the square root of 7. So nothing on the bottom, which seems kind of awkward, but that's what it reduces to, just the square root of 7. So we'll try that out. And then the rest of them, we're going to solve it. So sine, here's my angle, opposite over hypotenuse, square root of 42 over 7. When I do the reciprocal, flip it, it will be 7 over the square root of 42. Rationalize that, you will get 7 square root of 42 over 42. And you can reduce 7 and 42. 42 is divisible by 7. We're going there 6 times, so you'll get 1 over 6, or square root of 42 over 6. So if I write that, that will be the square root of 42, because that 1 will just go away, over 6. So square root of 42 over 6. And then tangent is opposite over adjacent, so it would be square root of 42 divided by square root of 7. And then if I flip that, that will be square root of 7 over the square root of 42. Okay, kind of messy. I might just leave them as they are, because trying to rationalize them, you might not follow that just yet. Might be easier just for you to do the 6 trig functions. So against my better judgment, I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm going to do square root of 42 over 7. And then tangent, this one on the bottom, square root of 42 over square root of 7. Now, I think you do need to reduce these, okay? So I will reduce these since they're both under a square root. So what I mean, whenever you have a fraction and square root on top and on the bottom, this is the same thing as putting one big square root and having 42 over 7 like so. You will reduce these. 42 is divisible by 7. That will give you 6. So you have just the square root of 6. I think you must have that for this one. And then when you do the reciprocal for this one, you would flip it and have 1 over the square root of 6. I do think you must do that. So let me show you just to verify. I'm going to put this in first, and then I'm going to convert to square root of 6. So if I do fraction square root of 42 over square root of 7, although your answer is equal to the correct, it's not in correct form. So yes, you must simplify this. So it will all simplify down to square root of 6. CSC, that one should be okay. So I can do 7 square root of 42. 7 divided by square root of 42. SEC, I just ended up with square root of 7. Let me go ahead and try that one out and see what it looks like. Square root of 7, once you rationalize, that's fine. And then we're going to flip this one because that one has to be reduced as well. So just 1 divided by the square root of 6.